The value of life is not based on how long we live, but how much we contribute to others in our society. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Uncle Marv podcast. I am your host, Uncle Marv, and we are here in February. And I should let everybody know that here in Florida, we are bracing for winter. That is right. Iguanas might be falling out of trees in the next couple of days as the temperatures will drop into the 40s over the next couple of evenings. So those of you complaining about snow, wait till you have iguanas falling out of the sky. So that is what we're going to be dealing with. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that are watching live, I want to say thank you. For those of you that are listening by audio, this show is a video podcast that I do every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's basically a show where we share life lessons and stories, and I talk to friends, family, and almost famous people. Basically, it's my way of being selfish and saying that, well, since it's hard for me to pick up the phone and people to reach me, I figured let me do this podcast to try to talk to all the people that I want to talk to and share some of the great stories. Speaking of almost famous people, I do want to say thank you to Elise Roth-Tedeschi, who was my guest last week. We had a tremendous outpouring of support after her show. Those of you that don't know Elise, she is a good friend of mine from high school. She now resides in Atlanta and is one of the fantastic people that has basically kicked cancer's butt and has been sharing the good news for the past several years. For those of you that don't know how to get to my podcast, basically what you'll do is go to unclemarv.com, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. You can either see or listen to the podcast. Those of you that don't know what podcasts are, basically it's a mini version of internet radio. You can actually just download the podcast into your mobile phone or device. If you're on the Uncle Marv page, there's a button for you to subscribe, and you can go to any of your favorite podcatchers, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and the show will automatically download once I publish it. And then you can listen to it anytime that you're out on the road, jogging, driving in the car, doing whatever. And if you just want to listen to the videos or watch the videos, I should say, all the shows that have the video will have that link embedded on the page, and you can watch until your heart's content. We stream on both YouTube and the Facebook. So let's see. Any notes there? All right. So just checking here. I don't have too many announcements going on. Today's show is definitely about an almost famous person. Many of you have heard me talk about my time in junior achievement. For those of you that were in high school with me, we didn't really do junior achievement. It wasn't an in-school deal. It was an after-school program. And in the summers, I got to go to Indiana University, where we participated in the National Junior Achievement Contest. Actually, it was a conference. All the contests that I entered, I did not win any. So maybe I'm just remembering that there. But the conference was a great time. It was the top achievers in the country that had either won Company of the Year or Officer of the Year or were outstanding delegates. And it happened for a lot of years on the campus of Indiana University, and we had a great time. Johnny Sweeny is the wife of one of the previous directors of the conference. He was actually also a national program director for Junior Achievement. And Johnny is a very, very special person because while Jim was known as the general of junior achievement, I think Johnny was actually the colonel that kept him in line, that anytime Jim would start to stray off on a story or talk too much about something, or she wanted to just get him home, she gave him the little elbow, and we knew who was in charge. So that is going to be our show for today. We'll have a little special something coming up. I do want to give a couple of shout outs and let some people know that I didn't mean to bump them, but Johnny's a little more famous than them. But we are planning for next week's show, the Hart Brothers. They are also junior achievement products. Chip actually is supposed to be pretty famous doing something pretty important. And Tim, his brother, is a very good man in and of himself. They were originally tentatively not quite penciled in for tonight, but once we realized that we were going to do this special celebration for Johnny, they got bumped. Happens all the time in showbiz. So Tim and Chip Hart will be my guests for next week. So be looking forward to chatting with them, and we will share a good old time there. And if you think I'm stalling, yes, I am, because I am trying to get to the pages where I had notes in on the website that I wanted to remember and chat about. I also wanted to say, so we mentioned Elise from last week. And if you, let me do this, because Todd Shoemaker, I know that you had sent me an invitation to do something, and I will get to that and do it. Todd Shoemaker is also another one of those people that has basically taken life and kicked its butt. So Todd, who was diagnosed with many things years ago and told that he shouldn't be living after a year or two. Well, it's been now, I think, 15 years, and he is going strong. So he was also a previous episode on the podcast. Go back and listen to him and tell his story. And I think we're going to be having him on again because he might be doing a book, I think. So I don't have that notes here, or else I'd tell you. So I will get that from him as well. All right, as I scroll down here looking for my notes, I do want to say thank you. I had a donation that was provided on the Uncle Marv page. I got 4 cups of coffee, so I want to thank you for that. I'm scrolling, so I don't know who that was that did it, but I know it was 4 cups of coffee, and I appreciate that. That is a way, folks, that you can help support the show here. All the things that I'm trying to do with the video and the streaming and the equipment to make myself sound better than I really am costs a little bit of money. And even though I tricked the wife into letting me pay for it personally, this is something that I really should be trying to pay for either out of the business or on its own. So that's what we are doing here. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. I actually had somebody that was going to pop on here, and it's not that she's late. It's just that I talked really fast and got through all the stuff I was going to get through first. So I'm going to give her a couple of minutes to pop on. And of course, if you're listening to this in the audio, you'll find that I probably did not edit this awkward part out. And I do want to say, well, while we're waiting, let me do this. I actually have a message that my spotlighted person is watching. Shanna Lee has put in here that Johnny says hello, and thank you to everyone watching. So if you are watching live and you are in either YouTube or the Facebook chat, I see those messages here, and I can stream them up there. And looks good there. And Carol, you're watching. You're supposed to be here. So hopefully you'll remember that and pop on here. Okay. And Paul is watching, and the Alvin Lee is also here in the chat here. All right. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and get to a video presentation that we hurriedly scraped together earlier this afternoon. So I'm going to play that in honor of our good friend Johnny. And Johnny, I hope that you like it. All right. So that was a lot harder to put together than you think. And I want to thank everyone that was on the Zoom meeting that we had a little earlier to sing happy birthday. And that was actually the third take, was the best of the three. So I thank you to everybody and to all friends of Johnny who helped put that together. Lou Orzone, Carol, and Andrea, Frank, Alvin, Donna, Georgianne, all of that good stuff. So, all right. So I think I need to do one quick thing because Carol is supposed to be joining me here, and let me see why this is not getting to the right place. So I apologize, folks, but this is why you're supposed to do a rehearsal, and don't really have time to do that. So you're going to see me do actually a little bit of on the fly stuff, and feel free to talk amongst yourselves and share in the chat, and I will get, actually I may make this so that several of you can get on here and chat along with the show. So let me do this, copy that. All right, so Alvin and Paul liked it. Thank you very much. And we have a response already from Johnny. She says that this has warmed her heart on a day of a blizzard. So beautiful there. All right, so while we wait for Carol, chat there. Oh, here she comes. So let's get her on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Mozak Wolf.
Hey, Marvin.
Hey, how are you?
I hope the reverb from my husband's computer isn't yucking you up much.
I thought it was a TV in the background.
Well, you are popular, so I can shut the doors. Anyway, happy birthday, Johnny.
Hey,
happy birthday, Johnny.
And cake. Beautiful, beautiful.
We're so excited.
All right. So, Carol, real quick, let's tell everybody your relationship to Johnny, and that'll help my backstory. And
okay. I was elected conference secretary in NAJAC in 1972, and my year of service ended with the fabulous conference in 1973 with David Ruffin and Greg Snow and Jim Tompert. Jim passed away about a year or so ago. But because of that, I was then hired by Jim to work as a conference registrar. And when I stayed in Stanford, because that was where the headquarters was located, I lived at the YMCA, which was so exciting. And there was not much to do in downtown Stanford in 1975 and 1976, I can assure you, except go to Caldors. But
okay, hang on there. What was Caldors?
Caldors was a store that you could wander in and out. It was kind of like Kmart back then. Anyway, so terrifically exciting experience. But Jim and Johnny kind of took me under their wing and would have me out to their home in Westport for dinner every once in a while. And we just got to be, I was always amazed at them that they were so kind to me. And over the years, when I located to Connecticut, and then when I was married and we lived in the Fairfield County area, we got to be pretty close friends. I mean, real close friends. They took care of my girls. They came to every show. They did all the grandparent type stuff that you do. Jim helped Abby learn how to sail at Westport Sailing School, that kind of stuff. But the impression that I always had of Johnny was of like 4 different people. Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, Winston Churchill, and Mother Teresa. I mean, it was like the combination, this whole bunch. She was gracious. She was beautiful. She still is. She showed people how to appreciate what they had and how to give freely to other people. She was just a real strong Christian woman who cared about others and made a point of making sure people felt valued. She loved Jim to a fault. She was his greatest champion. She would be his greatest critic. She kept him in line, but loved him like it was a wonderful thing to watch. So it was a good example to me. showing that she cared versus just saying that she did. So for me to have this opportunity to it's like being another daughter, sort of. I wouldn't presume that, but it sure felt that way and sure feels that way now. I am very thankful and blessed to know her. And she listens to me. She tells me stories of her life. And she loves the JA kids who contact her all the time. The phone calls and the cards, the special friends who have contributed in Jim's name to his favorite things, particularly Princeton. She's just a real icon to me. And I am so thankful that we have her here and that she is watching. Hi, Johnny. And that her very sweet and lovely young aide is just caring for her and loving her. This it's such a joy to see.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my story. And she has enfolded my family and my kids and my husband into hers. And that's a real gift.
Well, I think that was something that she did. And I don't know if it was always intentional. I know sometimes it was, but it was something where once you met her, you felt like family. Now, when I put out the original promo for this, I told everybody that she was my oldest friend. And suffice it to say, Johnny and I really aren't that close. So we only officially met twice, but she made you feel like you were always a friend. And just to be honest with you, Carol, for the longest time, I thought you were related to her somehow. I just assumed that, well, she must be in the family.
Thank you, Marvin. That's an honor. No, I tend to, it's like a tick on a dog. I can't get rid of me.
All right.
And so I've been present with Johnny for many different things and with her family. And I've been grateful that I've had that honor to do that and be around.
Wow.
But I think proximity has helped a great deal, but watching someone with a caring heart, it's not hard to love somebody who cares. And she loves a lot.
Yeah, she does. And she loved her husband, Jim. Although I do have to say, I think that had she been given the opportunity, she probably would have outdone him if she had.
I do believe.
I mean, folks, I know we're celebrating, Johnny's 102nd birthday. In that fact alone, we thought we were celebrating Jim at 101.
Yeah.
She beat that.
Mm-hmm. Johnny has always impressed me with her intellect as well. She worked very hard all of her life, and she is brilliant in the finance world. She loves to manage her own funds and do her own investments because she learns really fast and applies it very quickly. And it has been fun to watch her when she and Jim would have their own separate investment accounts, little funds that they would play with. She would regularly outpace him in her investment acumen. I mean, her net results were pretty terrific. But she practically memorized the business section of the New York Times, just tracking stocks. Very, very impressive lady.
Yeah. So that was very interesting to know that. So her graduation degree, I believe, was as a secretary with a minor or concentration in finance. And she ended up working at Arthur Andersen, but only in a secretarial role to one of the partners when, she probably should have been a vice president, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yes. But that was the era of women had roles. And it's it's impressive to see how much of a success she has been, not necessarily in the worldly way, but in the heart way, that she has succeeded in influencing so many different young people along with Jim, because she cared enough to invest her heart in them and to listen. And I think one of the funny quotes is, "Stay alert, you can observe a lot by watching." I find that to be the case in being with Johnny. Just learn a lot by watching and listening.
All right. Well, I know that it's late for Johnny. She's had a very long day. She gets a ton of phone calls, from what I hear, all during the day from people wishing her happy birthday. And so, Johnny, I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully we were able to give you just one more thing to smile about as you nod off to sleep tonight. And remember that you are loved, and you will always be loved. Thank you very much for all that you've done for over the years.
Johnny.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and end the show here. And I just want to let people know that those of you that are watching, we do a post show. So even though I'm going to close the show officially, we'll have a little video out. You can stay after and participate in the post show. And I'll have a link for people to pop on and do some stuff here. As we go out, since we are dealing with the Junior Achievement NAJAC family, I want to make sure that we remember someone that we lost just last week. Most of us that attended the conference know him as Radar, but Fred Kalish passed away just this past week. So I want to make sure that we remember him, and I will have a link in the show notes. So that if you go to the webpage and look in the notes, there will be a place for people to give tribute to him. So Carol, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you, Johnny, for watching. And for everyone else, we will see you next week. And until next time, holla.